And you'll be pleased to hear there'll be definitely no Willies on this programme. It's 8 minutes past 10, Paul Miller Show from the BBC in the South. We are around the world at bbc.co.uk, and trust, as always, you had yourself a good day. 3 hours of goodies just around the corner. We've got our penultimate taxi competition, not only the penultimate one for this week, but the penultimate one full stop. Yep, end of the competition tomorrow. Something new starting next Monday, which will be lots of fun, as always. If you'd like to be in with a chance of having a go at our taxi competition, final one, penultimate one tonight, final one tomorrow. Very straightforward. We're looking for a famous person, and you identify that famous person by looking at the answers to 3 questions. So in other words, the 3 answers to the questions become clues or links that relate to a famous person. That is what you've got to try and work out. If you haven't been with us before, it'll all come clear in a few moments when I give you tonight's questions. As always, we'll keep you up to date with what's happening in the world. Neil's here with news and weather, 11 and 12. We've also got a stack of tunes to get through. Keep a close eye on the travel as well. Some fun and games on the phones, a little natter here and there. Anything else that we fancy, basically. So nothing too heavy, but certainly we should have a few laughs. So let's get cracking then with the taxi competition. And if I've got my old timing right, any minute now, the old taxi should appear. Ah, here it comes. Bless it. Somebody famous going to get out the taxi. Shut the door, why don't you? I would. Thank you. So we're looking to find out who that famous person is. We do that by looking at the answers to some questions, okay? The first is an anagram, the second is a mystery tune, and the third is a what am I? Now, you don't have to have a go at all 3 of them. You just go for the one you want to. So if you like music, you think you know what the mystery tune is, you can just phone through, email or text and have a go at that one. If you just want to have a go at the what am I, similarly you can do that. Or if maybe for number 1, the anagram, you think you can unscramble that one, you go for that one instead. Once you think you know who the famous person is, and remember it's the 3 answers that will lead to a famous person, then you can get in contact, and the first person to work out who it is will get one of my bugs. Okay, so that's the way that it works. Let's see if we can get a right answer nice and quickly tonight. Eyes down, look in. Here come tonight's questions. Number 1, as always, is the anagram. You need to unscramble this little phrase to give you an expression or a place, a person, or anything, to be honest with you. And the anagram tonight is dinosaur pats wrists. Dinosaur pats wrists. Dinosaur, D-I-N-O-S-A-U-R. Pats, P-A-T-S, and wrists, W-R-I-S-T-S. Okay, dinosaur, pats, wrists. Unscramble that lot, it'll give you something else. Maybe you like to have a go at the old tune. This is always very, very popular. Here it comes. It's a very short clip of a very well-known song, and bear that in mind. It's nothing obscure, nothing that isn't well-known at all. But this clip could be somewhere in the middle, it could be at the end, or it may be towards the beginning of the song. That is for you to work out. So, what do you think this is? Yes, I'm afraid that is all you get. We're not terribly generous on this programme. You think you know? And then finally, for number 3, it's the what am I. We're looking for an object or a thing of some description. The clue is as follows. I rarely stop moving. That's the clue. What could it be? I rarely stop moving. So, as they say, it's over to you. Number 1, the anagram, dinosaur pats wrists. Number 2 is the mystery tune. If you think you know what that is. And then for number 3, what am I? I rarely stop moving. We are looking for some right answers nice and early tonight, fingers crossed. You can always text if it's easier for you. 07786 200 961 is the number, or the email, Paul Miller Show, that's all one word, Paul Miller Show at bbc.co.uk. Just go for whichever one it is that you'd like to have a go at. And as soon as you think you know who the overall person is, have a guess. You don't have to wait till the answers are out. Just have a guess, because if you are right, you, of course, get one of my bugs. Before we go any further, some travel news for you. An update on this problem on the A20 westbound in Dover. You find the road is closed because of accident investigation work. That's at the Courtwood interchange, the junction with the B2011. Traffic from Dover Port is being diverted onto the A2, and we're expecting this to be going on for a little while yet. So that's the A20 westbound closed because of accident investigation work at the B2011 junction. That's the Courtwood interchange, and that's going to be going on for a while. All traffic from Doverport is being diverted onto the A2. As I always say, any problems on the roads that we're not aware of, do feel free to pick up the phone, give us a ring. We can then check out the information with the police and then pass it on to other people. Okay, good. Let's get the competition cracking. We've got the anagram, we've got the music, we've got the what am I. We just need 3 answers and then hopefully find out who the famous person is that they all relate to. Let's go straight off to Wokingham and speak to Tony tonight. Hello, Tony.
Hello, Paul. Sorry, hello, Tony.
I don't mind being Tony.
I shouldn't have gone to the pub before I listened to the radio.
Yeah, was it a good night down the pub though, Tony? Was it a good one?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Bad. I had a couple. Yeah.
Just one or two. You know, got to do it. Do you find that you go down the pub and play the old games and things? Do people still play darts and things like that or not?
Yeah, very occasionally. It's a lot of it's sort of fruit machines and things now, but I'm no good on those because I lose every time.
Yeah,
so
me
I
too.
just watch and laugh when they lose their money.
I know. See, the problem is if I go on the fruit machine, I put the money in and press the button or pull the handle, whatever it happens to be, and if I don't win, well, that's it. I sulk. You know, I like to win. I don't like this losing business.
I'm not very good at it. My friend, you know, I go down the pub with, he can put sort of 40, 50 pounds in, and
you're joking.
No, and it just
and
doesn't
lose
it.
it.
Yeah, but he usually sort of gains £10 back, and he's happy with that.
It's strange, you know. It really is strange. I mean, years ago when I used to work in a casino, I used to see people losing, you know, hundreds, if not thousands of pounds a night, and they don't bat an eyelid.
Yeah.
They really don't care.
I wish I could afford to lose that much.
And you sit and look at them and you think, good grief. And sometimes you'll be in the staff room and one of the dealers will come up and say, a woman just lost $500,000 in one spin. I said, what did she say? Oh dear, dealer, some you win, some you lose. I'd have cut my wrists, wouldn't you?
I think I would, yeah, definitely.
Just goes to show how much money some people have got.
Yeah, definitely, if only.
Yeah, tell me about it. We can all dream, we can all dream. Now then, Tony, you can have a go at this song, are you?
Yeah, because I think I heard it on the radio, funnily enough, on the way back home.
Let's have another quick listen to the clip then. What do you think?
I think it's All Night Long by Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie, All Night Long. Are you feeling confident?
I'm hoping I've got it right. I'm not sure.
It's wrong.
Oh,
it's wrong.
No.
But it does sound like it, but as they say, some you win, some you lose.
Worth a try, worth a try.
Yeah, and it's lovely to speak to you as well.
Thank you, Paul.
Take care.
Thanks a lot.
All the best. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. There you go, Tony from Wokingham, Lionel Richie, All Night Long, All Night, All Night. Should I, Neil, do you think I should sing a little bit of the songs if people get them wrong? Would that be a good idea, just to illustrate what it would be not a good idea? Oh, I see. Okay, it's could be one of those nights, clearly. Ben is with us. He's in Dover. Hello, Ben.
Hi, Paul.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, and you?
Very well, as always.
Good.
And
I liked your singing, by the way.
You see, obviously you're a gentleman of some taste when it comes to music. You see, Neil is obviously tone deaf. Because he doesn't appreciate my singing to the extent that he should. I mean, quite often we'll be sitting in the office and I'll be singing away and someone comes up and clouts me with something very large and very hard. I don't understand why they do it.
I sing a bit as well.
Do you do a little singing?
Yeah.
Where do you like to sing? Do you sing in the bath, in the car, or what?
Anywhere, really.
Really?
Yeah.
Any songs that are your personal or particular favourites? Any types of song?
Frank Sinatra.
Oh, you could give us a bit of Frank Sinatra now. What do you like to sing?
I'm a bit nervous.
You're not singing my way, otherwise you should get the frying pan, I tell you.
Okay.
What are you going to go for? This could be the start of your career here, Ben. Do you realise that?
I was actually going to sing My Way, because that's my favourite one.
Go on then.
But I can sing something else.
Go on then.
The Way You Look Tonight, I like that.
Oh, yes, I do a rather nice version of that as well, though people say my version is very different.
I'll sing the first couple of lines.
Go on then, just the first couple of lines, that'll do.
Here we go.
Go for it.
Someday... Oh, bugger, I forgot.
I don't remember those words.
Forgot the word. Okay, I'll sing my way.
I don't remember that. Are you sure you're going to get those ones right?
My mind just goes blank.
You're telling me
I'll
it
sing
does.
my way.
Go on there, just a couple of lines, go on.
And now the end is near, and so I face my final curtain.
Yeah, that's quite enough, thank you very much. Otherwise I should be facing my final curtain. But you know, I'm delighted that you've come on tonight because my singing has now been put into second place by Neil next door. I'm pulling your leg. Take some guts to sing on the radio, believe me. Ben, which one are you going to have a go for, my friend? Are we talking music here or one of the other two?
I'm going to go for the What Am I?
Okay, I rarely stop moving. What do you think?
I think it could be water.
Water, because that rarely stops moving. It's always on the go. Water is good. Water is wrong.
Well, as I say,
Sorry.
very good singing, Paul, and thank you very much.
Well, maybe we should do a little duet on my new album. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. But we'll get the words sorted out next time.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. Nice to speak.
And to you, Paul.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There you go. There's Ben, who is in Dover with water. It is not water. No. This What Am I, number 3, I rarely stop moving, is the clue. I rarely stop moving. Charles is in Hawley. Hello, Charles.
Good evening, Paul.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Very well as always.
Good, good. I'm just wondering if you can remember me.
I will always remember who you
Well,
are.
I was going to say it's been a good year.
Because whenever you come on, things start to go wrong.
Well, this is very true. I say it's been a good year.
Have you been away somewhere or what?
Well, I've just been busy, and I have been on my travels. Yes, I've been in Australia, and I've been in the States again. You
haven't
know.
been chasing storms
I
again,
have.
have you?
Yes, I have. Yes, I'm going back in next month actually to do the same thing again.
To chase a storm.
Yeah. That's correct. Yes, looking for more twisters.
So what do you do? You sort of just drive around, and if you see one,
well,
you say...
I don't personally drive, because if I drive, the car will break down.
Yeah,
so
that's also very true.
Which is not a good idea. No, we travel up to about 400 miles each day, tracking down...
So how do you know where they're going to be?
Well, I don't know personally, but these people know. They have the latest radar detector
Oh, I
system,
see. So it's a bit high-tech then?
Oh, it is. I mean, I wouldn't have a clue what they're going on about, but I just say, you do whatever you need to do. Just get me to the storms. That's all that matters,
And tell me, when you get to the storm, what do you do with it?
Well, we're there just really to video the, see if almost what we hope for is like a twister or a thunderstorm.
And what do you just watch it?
Just watch it, yeah. Just watch it fade out, fizzle out, and or if it continues, go after it.
Go after it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What do you mean, go after it?
Well, chase it. Don't let it go out of your sight. Run, go after it.
Can I ask you a very simple question here?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, it's fascination. Well, why not, Paul?
Well, yeah, I suppose that's a very good answer, actually. Yes, to a good question,
Yeah,
why not?
Why not? Yeah, if it's something you like doing,
It's a bit like that, the way of answering a question with, whatever, isn't it? Okay,
yeah.
Whatever.
That's right. End of conversation.
End of story. Quite
end
right.
of conversation. Yes, very true. How are you keeping, Paul?
Always well.
Strange to speak to you after all these months. Because it's been there. I'm sure it was about a year ago since when I last.
Could have been. Yeah,
I think so.
It was quite a long time. Yeah, it's quite possible.
Yes. I thought this time I must give him a call and say hello again, just to say that I'm still alive.
Well, it's always nice to hear from you. I'm glad you're still breathing.
I am just.
So, could you be getting some luck on my competition?
Unlikely.
Which one are you going for, my friend?
The What Am I?
I rarely stop moving. What do you think?
Well, I think it's a clock. I was going to go for a cclock. The second hand, or no, the actual thing that goes round. The
second hand.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Right.
Because unless the battery dies, of course.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
You're not the only one.
Oh, really? Oh, that does make a change.
Martin sent me through a text. He thinks clock as well. Mm-hmm. So does Mo in Portsmouth. Mm-hmm. Colette from Woolston. Mm-hmm. Steph in Bexhill. Mm. Selzy Jill. Hi, Selzy Jill. And also Matthew in Minster-on-Sea as well. And...
We're wrong.
You're all wrong.
There we go.
But never mind.
Never mind.
You come back in fine form, Charles.
I certainly haven't changed much, have I, Paul? You would have thought, after all these months, you would have thought that your next time he comes on, he might have had he might have changed. But,
no, I didn't think that for one moment, actually.
No change whatsoever.
No, none at all.
Still the same as I was,
yes.
all those months ago, yes.
And probably always will be.
Yes. I suppose you haven't seen me on the news lately, Paul,
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
There you go. All right, then.
Don't leave it so long next time, and you take good care.
I will do, Paul. All the best.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There's Charles from Hawley, who's been one of our regular listeners on and off for many, many years. Nice to hear from him again. No, it's not. No, it is not a clock. Let me just run down the questions again if you've just joined us. Number 1, the anagram. Dinosaur pats wrists. Dinosaur pats wrists. Number 2 is this little tune here. It's a little tiny bit of a well-known song. We just want to know what it is and who it's by, because the clue could be in the artist or the title. And then, of course, for number 3, what we're stuck on at the moment is the What Am I? I rarely stop moving. But what?
Call BBC Radio Kent 08459 811111.
On the text, 07786 200 961. Tilbury Dave, hiya Tilbury Dave, thinks number 3 could be the moon. We've got a couple of people going for a cat or a dog here. James in Windsor, Roland in Hedge End. And I've also got that guess here from Martine, who is in Bournemouth. Nice to hear from you. Barry from Fleet says, could number 3 be Big Ben by any chance? It is not. Ryan in Crawley, hello Ryan, says, Paul, first time text in the programme, nice to have you with us, said, I think number 3 is a clock. Well, we now know that it isn't. What about the sea? Says Jim, the Asda driver. No, but certainly a move in the right direction, possibly. A windmill from Simon in Wimbledon. Nope. Leaves on the trees from Nora in Bittern Park. We've also got the Earth on its axis from Chris in Raynham. Clock from Jean in Woking. Hiya, Jean. Nice to hear from you. Sandra Dre in Horsham. Hello, Sandra. Thought it was a clock too. And also Sandra in Havant as well. Definitely not a clock. That was the most popular guess, it has to be said. And we've also got clouds from Jackie in Folkestone. The wind from Jane in Rye. And also a motorway, or traffic on a motorway. That's from Pauline, who is in Midhurst. In a word, no. Very quickly, Elaine from Hertfordshire, thank you for your text. In answer to your question, yes, that is the right address. Okay, so Elaine from Hertfordshire, the answer to your question is yes. And also, let me just make you aware that we are at the moment looking into reports of a power cut in the Arundel, Littlehampton, that sort of area. No more details at the moment, but it would appear from the information we've been receiving that it's quite widespread. Okay, we are looking into that as we speak, and more details as and when we get it. Okay, just coming up 2:25 to 11. Let's go to Folkestone. Speak to Mike. Hello, Mike.
He's in Maidstone.
You're in Maidstone. I've got Folkestone on the screen here. You see, the thing is, Mike, you see, because Nearly's so considerably older than me, he's got, the old dementia and what have you coming in. That's what it is. And I don't like to say anything.
Well, not to worry.
No, I don't like to upset him, I mean, we've always, we've all got to get that age at some stage.
Well, I'm sure.
Oh, he does. Absolutely. How are you, Mike? Are you well?
Fine, yes. Bouncing.
Had a nice day?
Not too bad.
Good.
I have a job where people have, in the general public, come in, and if they're there, then I can help them. Unfortunately, the numbers are extremely low this afternoon.
Oh, right.
Sort of like 0.
Oh, that's not so good. Is it really? That's not so good at all.
Well, not to worry.
No, never mind. We can always get home and put our feet up and forget about these things.
That's it. Listen to the radio,
I should think so too.
Yes.
I should think so too. So which one are we going for, Mike, on the competition?
The anagram.
Okay.
Inspiration came my way. But I know not from where.
I know the feeling. Dinosaur pats wrists. What do you think that turns into?
Well, I'm not sure if it's the right one, but I worked out upstairs, downstairs.
Upstairs, downstairs. Right. A couple of other people have turned it in. I mean, obviously it may turn into more than one thing.
Yeah.
But a couple of other people have come up with upstairs, downstairs as well. I've got Rosemary, who is in Weymouth, has got some upstairs, downstairs. Selzy Jill has got some upstairs, downstairs as well. Obviously, great minds thinking alike. And also, who's this one come through from? From John from Hawley. And you're absolutely right.
Oh, jolly good.
Absolutely right.
Jolly good.
So that is our first clue sorted, upstairs, downstairs. Where that takes us, goodness only knows.
Just made up for my quiet afternoon now.
There you are, you see. See, had you have read your tea leaves this morning, you'd have known.
Yes. Anyway.
Good to speak to you,
Thanks for phoning and
pleasure.
keep up the good work.
Do our best, and next time I won't move you a few hundred miles down the road, all right? All the best.
All the very best, Paul.
Bye-bye now.
All the best then. Toodaloo.
Bye-bye. There you go. There's Mike from Maidstone. Yeah, got it sorted. So that's number one out of the way. And quite often the anagram is very difficult, okay? So upstairs, downstairs is the answer. So that is our first clue. Right. Let's go off to Weymouth now. Speak to Jackie. Hello, Jackie.
Hi, Paul.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Are you ready for this heat wave we've got over the next few days?
Oh, I hate it.
Jackie, but you could get them off and let the old rays get to the body.
I think I'll have to.
Yeah. No, I heard them saying it just goes to show how mad we are with the weather in this country. I was listening to the news, it was earlier on today, and they said, and in parts of the south it could be up to 23 or 24.
Oh.
You know, you can imagine in parts of the world people would start to be concerned if it was 44 degrees,
That's right,
you know.
absolutely, yeah.
But it was quite good. And then they were talking about, do we have enough water? Are we going to have a drought this year? I thought, I believe this.
Actually, we're wimps, aren't we?
We are, it's true.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
Yeah.
true.
We see a bit of snow and we're afraid to go out.
I know. Never mind. Apart from you and I, of course, Jackie.
Of course,
because we are
naturally.
strong, we are.
Absolutely.
Believe that,
We
you
know
believe
that,
it.
don't we?
Yeah, of course we do. Which one are you going for, my love?
I'm going for the third one.
Okay, I rarely stop moving. What do you think?
The heart.
The heart. If that stops moving, we're in big trouble.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But it's probably wrong.
It is wrong, I'm afraid.
Yes, I thought it would be. Okay.
It's a
well,
good guess.
Okay.
And
Nice talking to you.
And to you, Jackie. You take good care, my love.
Bye.
Bye. Bye now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
There's Jackie from Weymouth. So what is this number 3? What am I? What? Could it be a ship or a boat? Says Dan in Shoreham. It is not. Could it be a fish? Says Louise in Worthing. No, it is not a fish. We've also got a waterfall from Jackie in Folkestone. A waterfall also from Adam in Coventry. How about fish from Dan in Shoreham? Did I do that one just now? I can't remember if I did or not. Gwen from Bognor says, Paul, thinking it could be an escalator because that very rarely stops moving because obviously, you need to keep the thing going so people can use it. No. Also, James in Winchester went for that one too. I've got a couple more fish. Steve on the M40 and Adam in Southampton. And also Waves from Alex and Faith in Bittern Park. No. But a few guesses that are, well, let me just say a move in the right direction. I shall say no more than that. Penny from Worthing. Hello, Penny.
Hello, Paul.
How are you?
Well, apart from the fact I'm blind and disabled, I'm absolutely fine.
That is what I like to hear.
And I thought, considering you were being so rude about Neil's age and his brain power, we ought to do something about your shortness and reaching the supermarket shelves or something.
Well,
just to even things out.
These are vicious rumours. I don't buy things off the top shelf. I only buy things from the bottom.
Well, given that I'm in a wheelchair, I don't, but I'm quite tall, so I used to be able to.
I've got my little friends who go and reach those top shelves for me, But it's true, you can always work your way around the supermarket, avoiding anything that's,
Like, actually, I always used to hate shopping anyway, and now I have my carer, and she does my shopping for me.
There you are.
I'm very glad about that.
Sorted and done, Penny. I don't blame you either. Don't blame you either.
I don't have to go to Tesco's anymore. Oh, sorry.
Others are available.
Yeah,
Don't you worry,
already
my love.
others.
Don't you worry, my love. So which one are you going for, my sweet?
A river.
Oh, you're going for number 3 as well, the What
Yeah.
Am I? I rarely stop moving. Think it could be a river. Couple other people going for a river too. We've got a river from George, who is in Oxford. Mary, who is in Southsea. We've also got a river here from... I just mentioned a few of them because I've got so many. Jack, who is in Worthing, thought it could be a river. Also, Jim, the Asda driver, had a second waft of inspiration, has gone for the river too. Barry from Fleet. Wendy in Farnborough, Nora from Bittern Park as well, and just a couple more. Graham, who is in Dartford, thought it could be a river, and also Stephen, who sent me an email through from Southampton. So are you all right? Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And I'm a virgin caller. There you
The
go.
Virgin Penny as well. Talk
know.
about go for it first time.
Perhaps you'll get Jack in Worthing to give me a ring.
I'm not saying a word. Not a word. Lovely to speak to you though, my love. Thanks for your call.
All right, cheers.
Take good care.
Bye.
Bye now. Bye. There is Penny from Worthing. Yes, well done to her. It is a river that we were looking for. I've also got a river that's come through here from an anonymous person, so that one's no good. And also one from Stevie Babes. Hi, Stevie Babes. His words, not mine, in Dover. So this now makes life an awful lot easier in order to try and work out who the famous person is, because we've got 2 clues. We've got the anagram number 1, which we know is upstairs, downstairs, and then we've got number 3, which is a river. So any idea who the famous person would be just by looking at those? If we could get this song, I think we'll be well on the way, wouldn't we? It's a well-known song, but what is it? If you think you know, give us a ring. Use your number. Text 07786 200 961. Email paulmillershow@bbc.co.uk. Couple of suggestions for the song coming through. What have we got here? I have got Take Me to the Mardi Gras, Paul Simon from Jonathan in Cranbrook. I've also got David Essex with Rock On from Elaine in Hertfordshire. We've also got some Ocean Drive from Peter in Southampton. Black or White by Michael Jackson from Jenny, who is in Bristol. Hello, Jenny. Nice to have you with us. Apparently listening, not online as well, which is superb. And also, could the song be Beat It by Michael Jackson from Big Bad Colin? Again, it is not. So what is the song? Would really help if we knew. Robin Marchwood has gone for Flash by Queen. Nope, it is not. And also, could it be Can't Buy Me Love, says Jennifer, who is in Weymouth. Again, no.
This weekend on BBC Radio Kent.
Saturday.
PJ and Harris start the weekend from 6 with rock and roll legend Marty Wilde, who's back on the road with the Wildcats. Then Dave Cash counts down the music you remember from 1961 and 71 from 6 in the evening.
That's all coming up this weekend on BBC Radio Kent.
Elvis Presley. Can he get any lower? Way Down on the Paul Miller Show from the BBC in the South, coming up to 30 minutes to 11. Now then, how are we doing with this competition? Very well at the moment. Well-ish, because we've got number 1 and number 3 sorted out. And if we can get number 2, which is this tune, we're going to be really well and truly on the way. So who is this famous person? Sylvia from Shepperton on the text says, Paul, is it Jane Seymour? Nope. Donna from Marden says, I'm going to have a go at the famous person as well. Is it David Essex? Nope, it is not. Got to say hello and good night to Linda. That's come from Louise Rogers in Southampton, who says, Paul, I think the song is Dancing Queen by ABBA. I can tell you it is not. Gavin in Dorchester says, is the song Rocket by Herbie Hancock? It is not. And more guesses for this person as well. Joan Rivers from Mr. Nobody here. We've also got Dennis Waterman from Elaine in Hertfordshire. No, it is not. Kate, Lord Montague of Beaulieu by any chance? No. And what about Harry Elphick from Boone from Harry in Oxford. No, it's not. Let's go to Shankly and see what Sarah thinks. Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good. You had a nice day?
Yes, lovely, thank you.
And getting ready for this heat wave?
I know, can't wait.
Whoa, we get excited, you know, in this country. A couple of degrees over 20 and away we go. What have you got planned for the weekend? Anything exciting?
Oh, no, probably just enjoying the garden.
And it's a lot better if it's nice and dry as well, isn't it? Nice and sunny. Yeah. Do you like to work in the garden or to sit in it, or a bit of both?
Not really. I just like to sit in it and read, probably.
Yeah, problem is you find that it starts to grow around you, don't you?
I know.
You know, and you think, never mind.
I can watch it.
Yeah, why not? Go for it. Which one are we going for here, the song or the overall art?
The
overall famous person?
The overall person.
Okay, who do you think?
Gordon Jackson.
Gordon Jackson. Oh, right. Mr. Hudson.
Indeed.
In upstairs, downstairs. Oh, I see. Right, I can tell you a lot of people think that.
Right.
Okay. Martin in Fareham, Gordon Jackson. Also Lim in Purley-on-Thames. Colin in Fulham. And about another 12,000 million people. So, do you think you're right?
No. Yes, I do.
I've got to be optimistic. It is wrong. Ooh, she says. No, it's not.
Okay.
But a very popular guess, and I can certainly see where you're coming from, but not the one, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Lovely to speak to you, though, Sarah.
Yes, and you.
Take care, my love.
Bye.
Bye-bye. No. And I could hear people around the country going, woo, when we said no, because it was the most popular guess. Let's have a go at this song. Barry's in Brighton. Hello, Barry.
Hello, Paul.
How you doing?
Good evening, young man. How are you?
Young man. That must be me, because I'm the only young man round here. So it's got to be me. Very well indeed, as always.
Yeah. I thought the song was Yellow River.
By Christie, yeah?
Yeah. Go on, say it's wrong.
Are you feeling confident?
Oh, I thought I was until the beat went up a bit.
Oh,
you know the drum beat a bit.
Yeah, when it goes up at the end. And
Yeah.
Suddenly you thought, oh, rats, maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, you're wrong.
Okay, then.
Not to worry, though.
Can you give my friends a call out, Ruby?
Give them a mention.
Yeah, play if you would.
Who's that, Ruby and Ray?
Yeah, that's right.
Hi,
Right.
Ruby. Hi, Ray.
Yeah, thanks a lot. then,
Not a
Paul.
problem. Nice to speak to you, Barry.
Yeah, a virgin caller as
Hey,
well.
the Virgin Barry. Good on you.
Yeah.
Hopefully speak
Thanks,
again.
Paul. Take
Bye-bye.
care, mate.
And you.
Night-night.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. That is Barry from Brighton. Christie's Yellow River. It is not. Ha 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 ha. I think we have got a right answer for the tune. Angie thought it was 10cc's Rubber Bullets. A couple of people thought it was Rubber Bullets, actually. We've also got Rubber Bullets from Martin as well. Also, Alan, who's in Spain, thought that the overall answer could be Bruce Springsteen, which would have something to do with the song maybe as well. But if I tell you what this is, with the compliments of Andrew in Elstead, who just came through, it is Billy Joel. It's still rock and roll to me.
Don't you know about the new fashion?
So we've now got all three of them out in the open. So it's going to be a big race. We've got 4 minutes to see if anyone's going to work out who the famous person is. And, of course, the first person to work out who it is gets one of my bugs, OK? So you've got the 3 clues now. So we're looking for the celebrity. The clues are Upstairs, Downstairs, It's Still Rock and Roll to Me by Billy Joel, and A River. They relate or link in some way or another to a famous person, but sometimes it's not that obvious. You need to think about it. Who is it going to be? Could it be River Phoenix, says Harry from Oxford on the text, 07786 200 961. Neil from the Isle of Wight says Michael Flatley. No. Kate says Paul John Alderton. No. June in Fareham says wild guess, Jean Marsh. Also Louise from Worthing has gone for that one as well. Luke in Weymouth thought the song, by the way, was Barry Manilow's Copacabana. I can see why you would think that, but no, it's not. Also, we have... Who's this one from? Mark, who's at work in Basingstoke at the moment, says, Paul, I thought the overall person could be Gordon Jackson. We now know that that it isn't, unfortunately. What about Hermione Baddesley, who is the lady who played Mrs. Bridges? That's from Keith in Woking. I can tell you that it is not. Jean Marsh, Billy Ocean, another popular guess as well. No. Jane in Rye with Jean Marsh. Joan Rivers from Faith in Dibdom. Joan from Leon Solent, says poor Mrs. Bridges. Nope. Joan Rivers from Richard in Chatham. Wayne in Hove with Joan Rivers as well. John Cleese from Steve on the M40. Nice to hear from you, Steve. Sadly, that's not the answer we're looking for. I've also got still loads of people going for Gordon Jackson. Loads and loads. No, definitely not. And could the answer be Michael Jackson from Ray, who is in Eastbourne? Again, it is not. Let's go to Neil, who's in Lower Early. Hello, Neil.
Hello, Paul. Hi.
How are you?
Not too bad. Feeling very, very confident now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Go on.
So you mean you had an idea as to who it was, but now you've heard the 3 clues, you're feeling extra super-duper confident?
Extra super-duper, yeah.
OK, well, who do you think it is?
Well, we've got Upstairs, Downstairs, Mr. Hudson.
Right, yeah.
We've got Rock and Roll to Me. Yeah, so we'll take rock out of that. We've got a River Hudson.
Right.
So I say Rock Hudson.
Rock Hudson. Upstairs, Downstairs. We had a Hudson in there who was the butler, as you say. Still Rock and Roll to Me gives us a rock. A river could be the Hudson River. So you get Rock Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
And you're feeling confident, are you?
Yeah, I think so.
Were you hoping for one of my bugs?
Oh, I'd love one.
Well, you're going to get one because you're absolutely right.
Thank you very much, sir.
Spot on. At what stage did you get it? Had you got it before the song came out?
No, as soon as the rock and roll song came out, I cracked it.
You thought, I know who that is.
No problem.
Excellent stuff.
Especially when Upstairs, Downstairs and Mr. Hudson came out.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't... what's his name?
Gordon Jackson.
So I thought, it can only be one other.
Your mind obviously works in a very, very good way, Neil.
Strange at times, but...
It's got to work in a strange way to get these, I tell you. Excellent. Well, and I can tell you, by the way, that Lynn from Hastings also managed to get it right about 2 seconds after you. But you were the first one, so well done. I shall hand you back to Neil, get your details. Bug will be in the post.
Lovely. Oh, just one thing for you, Paul.
Go on, then.
One thing to get your voice, your vocal cords working.
My vocal cords work anyway.
No, get them nicely warmed up. Have a glass of port. Go on with it for 10 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
And then swallow it. Warms the throat up lovely, mate.
Oh, yeah, I like the sound of that.
It really lubricates the vocal cords.
Oh, yeah, maybe I'll have a go at that.
I do it every time I go singing.
Yeah, I could do that every time I open my mouth. It'd be good, wouldn't it? Thank you for the tip.
All right, mate.
Stay there, my friend. Hand you back to Neil.
Yeah, bye, mate.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. There's his phone going in the background. Someone's ringing him up. Oh, well done. So there you go. There it is for tonight, the answer. Rock Hudson. And, of course, you had the explanation come through from Neil as well. News and weather, we should be announcing tonight's Bug in the Cab winner. If you've registered your details with us over the last, 6-7 weeks or so, they are coming up in a short while. If it is yours, you'll have until just before 1 o'clock to pick up the phone and claim your bug.
More than 100 self-proclaimed geeks turned out for the second event last night. Highlights included a talk on website layout, how to live in a virtual reality world, and a discussion on the Paul Miller Late Show. No.
How dare you? How dare... We don't have geeks round here. I've exterminated them all and got rid of them.
Yeah, right.
Haven't you got some Moultrie? I'm drinking my tea. You know?
No, that's it. I'm finished.
Is that it? Oh,
I'm finished.
That's well timed, that was. So what happens on Geek Nights? They all get together and talk geeky things.
Well, it says here they talked on website layouts and how to live in a virtual reality world.
Oh, how boring.
Was that Lawnmower Man or Edward Scissorhands? It was one of those, wasn't it?
I don't know. It was Lawnmower Man.
It was a film.
Lawnmower Man.
I think that was the one where they
Must have
went
been
into
a
this
Midlands
virtual
film.
reality thing.
No, it was definitely a Midlands film.
Johnny Depp.
We wouldn't have had it down here.
It was Johnny Depp before he went and took over the factory where he made the chocolate.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't say because we said there'll be none of those on this programme.
What, chocolate?
No. Begins with a W. We promised at the start of the programme there wouldn't be any on here.
I never said it.
I did. So we're not having it. Mr. Wonka. And that's it. His first name will not be mentioned. I refuse to have any of the aforementioned items on my programme tonight. Had enough of those in Roger Day's programme.
What, Bill?
Ashamed. No. To be ashamed of himself. Did you hear that song he played? Had rude words in it.
It was country. Of course I was listening.
I know. Well, I had to listen to a couple of minutes of it.
I was slapping my thigh.
Yeah, I know you
Which has denim round it tonight. I hope you noticed I didn't come in shorts.
No, thank goodness for that. You'd have gone out straight out again if you had done.
I had 2 letters today praising my legs.
Oh.
And saying that you have absolutely no
But
taste
they've
whatsoever.
never seen them. How would they know?
How do you know?
Because if they had, they wouldn't have said they were nice legs. They'd have been down the hospital getting therapy for a start. Horrible things they are.
You know who you are who wrote to me. Thank you very much. You're on my side. At least somebody is.
Yeah, note it was 2. 2.
2 more than you got.
Because my legs are delicious and everyone knows it. That's why.
No, actually, one of the ladies did say, have you seen Miller's legs? Trust me, they're not worth it. So who have you been hanging around with?
No, these are rumours. No, these are rumours. My legs are delicious. Absolutely delicious, believe me. I'm into this
You mean they look like Twiglets?
Probably, they do a bit, yes. There are no knobbles on my legs. I've just caught on. Cheeky swine. I got no knobbles.
Not got varicose veins?
No, your legs look like someone's about 100 years older than you. Are you sure you haven't had them transplanted at some stage? I bet you have. They could never be yours.
You could be... Look, there's...
Oh, no, put them down. Oh, they're just...
There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, they're horrible.
And I don't shave them either. They're just naturally smooth.
They're about as smooth as sandpaper. Put those trousers back down. Oof. Put me right off me tea.
Sorry, you were saying?
I'm into this geek night. This sounds
I thought
to me,
you might be. Do you want me to carry on while you go?
This sounds to me like the most awful. But I mean, so if somebody is a geek, do they? You know, they admit this, do they? I mean, they choose to go. Think,
well, they were
geek nights. I'm gonna go along. Take my collection with me.
Self-proclaimed geeks.
So what's a self-proclaimed geek?
I don't know.
I wonder if there are any listening
who would care to admit. Do you know, I've got somebody in my phone book who's called Geek.
Have you?
He's a mate of mine.
It's only 'cause you can't spell his name. That's probably why.
It's because I can't remember his name.
Yeah, well,
no. He's known as Geek.
Oh, that's it. Why is he a bit geeky?
No, not particularly.
So why do you call him Geek then? Don't ask.
No.
Just don't ask. It's just not worth it with him. You know it'll be some explanation involving a jam sandwich or something. So I mean, so we're looking for self-proclaimed geeks.
And what does a geek get up to?
I mean,
why is it geeky?
I mean, usually it's involved with sort of
knowledge, isn't it? It's
technology and computers.
Yeah, people who, how can I put this? People have a working knowledge of something are accused of being geeks. Unfairly, unless they're self-proclaimed, in which case they might be happy to be called geeks.
Do you think that I'm going to be really fair to people now who are geeky? Do you think that we call them geeks because we don't have the knowledge that they do?
And we're jealous.
Yeah, it might be. Because Bill Gates is considered to be the world's biggest geek, isn't he? Because he's the world's biggest computer buff, I suppose. And, you know, so people say he is the #1 geek. Yet, I mean, you know, we know about, what, 0.5% of what he does about computers?
If that.
If that. There you go. And the IT guys here know even less. So.
Well, it's when you start talking in the office about ROMs and RAMs and packets, and I just turn off.
It's all up here, you know.
All I hear is blah, blah, blah. You could be talking Swahili. You could be talking absolute garbage for all I know.
He doesn't got a clue what I'm on about.
Have you? Do you know what you're talking about?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Or are these just random words that you've strung together?
No. Fridge, milk, tea, coffee and cup are all real words, believe me. I know.
Oh, that's a hint.
Not at all. Oh, is it time for the weather? Well, yes, and it's tea time, yes.
Staying dry with clear periods, but increasing amounts of low cloud spreading across the region, with a few fog patches forming later. Winds are light and mainly northeasterly. Minimum overnight lows 8 Celsius, 46 degrees Fahrenheit. For Friday, dry with bright or sunny spells developing for most, generally warm inland, with onshore winds keeping some parts of the coast cooler. Maximum temperatures we've got there: 21 Celsius, 70 degrees Fahrenheit.
24 in London, so...
Yeah, but that's not from round here.
No, I shall be there.
Outlook for the... Yeah, but it's going to be so close. No, it's nicer outside. 21 is just nice outside. Outside of London, it's lovely. Outlook for the weekend, mainly dry with sunny spells for most. Generally warm inland in lighter winds, but some misty low cloud near the coasts, keeping it cooler.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, I'm looking for a geek. Even if it's just one, I want a self-confessed geek. I want to know what they do.
It would be great to find somebody who actually went to this geek night.
Where
last
was
night
it?
in
Remind me
Oxford.
where it was.
It just says in Oxford.
Just in Oxford. So maybe you're involved with this geek night and you can tell me a little bit more. Get in touch. I would love to know. I would love to know.
Maybe we could take the programme there.
Well, oh, not surrounded by the geeks. They'll all be there. Excuse me. Is that microphone a 317422932? I don't know. I don't care. Go away. Is that a bi-tristicodal capacitance doobie lead? What are you doing? You're looking at the microphone.
I'm seeing what microphone it is.
You don't want to know.
Oh, it's an M201 NYC.
Is it really near? I thought it was a 206.
Paul Miller on BBC Radio Kent.
12 minutes past 11. Paul Miller Show for the BBC in the South. So I'm looking for a geek. I want to know what they actually are. Pick up the phone and give us a tinkle. Maybe you are a self-confessed geek. What is it? And also, just for this next sort of 20 minutes or so, do you have things in storage? Now, let me finish what I'm saying before you start jumping to conclusions. Apparently, I discovered today, you know these big facilities that are being built all over the place? Where you like sort of, self-storage. And it's like sort of a big, it looks like a hangar, to be honest with you. And apparently inside they have lots of rooms, ranging from relatively small rooms, which would be like a walk-in cupboard, I suppose, up to quite a large size room. And basically you pay to keep stuff in there. Hence it's called self-storage. Now I was reading a report today which tells us that this is catching on big time. And that more and more people are putting stuff in storage. Well, you see, the way my little mind works says, well, what on earth do people have that needs to go in one of these storage places? Now, obviously, if you're moving home and you've got your furniture in storage as a stopgap, then that's a different thing. That's happened for years. But have you got something in storage? Do you rent one of these self-storage, I don't know what you call them, departments? Stores? I don't know, whatever they call them. And if so, what is in there?
Call BBC Radio Kent 08459 811111.
As I say, I only just want to talk about this the next sort of 20 minutes or so because I'm really curious as to what people put into these self-store units. That's the word. Thank you, Next Door. Units is the word. What's in there? What do you put? I was reading a report today, as I said, that was going on to say that a lot of councils up and down the country are receiving more and more applications from companies to build these self-storage units. And they're like filling them up. As when maybe 10 years ago companies would start up these huge, some of them are huge, and they would have half of them, available. They are literally filling up, and there are people on waiting lists to get one of these units. Well, what's in there? That is what I want to know. Text 07786 200 961. Email Paul Miller Show, that's all one word, paulmillershow@bbc.co.uk. And we're also looking for a self-confessed geek as well. What actually is a geek? Now, self-confessed geeks, be amazed the number of people out there who are going to admit to being a geek, what it actually is and what you are geeky about. And we're also asking you about storage facilities as well. Reading today, really quite amazed that they are catching on big time and that companies are looking for planning permission to build more and more of them because so many people want that extra space. But what for? We'll talk about that in just a second. A couple of mentions to do, though, before you go any further. I've got to say hi, first of all, to the guys in the shed. They know exactly who they are and always love the programme, so hi to the guys in the shed. Hello to Raymond in Ashford. Says, can you please say hello to my nan and granddad for me? They'll be listening to the programme in Dover. I certainly will. Matthew from Cranbrook says, Paul, can you please say hello to everybody at the Hilton Hall Dance Academy? And also hello to my Auntie Brenda as well. Matthew, consider it done. Becky in Thatcham wants to say hello to boyfriend Adam and tell him that she loves him very, very much indeed. And also Abby from Bognor says, Paul, got some great news. Can you please say hello to my sister Claire, who's in Milford? She managed to get her forklift truck driving licence today, and we're all dead chuffed. Of course I will. No problem. No problem at all. Right, let's whiz off to Portsmouth now. We're going to speak to John. Hello, John.
How you doing, Paul? All right, mate?
Yeah, how are you?
Well, I'm tired. I've just finished a day trip as a coach driver to Alton Towers and just got back.
Oh, you've had a long old day then.
Yeah, 5 o'clock this morning.
Oh, nice.
Anyway,
No.
I think I can combine a geek
Yeah.
with a self-storage.
Yeah, go
Well,
for it.
I don't think my son would be very pleased if I described him as a geek, but he's a computer, I think the word's probably expert.
Yes.
Just about to go and become, now let me think, I think it's Director of Information Technology for DHL in Dubai.
Ooh.
On a 3-year contract.
Right.
And he's putting all his furniture in self-storage. So that makes him a self-storage geek, does it?
I think it does.
I hope he can't pick this up in High Wycombe.
No, don't worry
Right,
about that. No, the wind will be blowing it in the opposite direction. It'll be fine. That'll be fine. So everything is going in to be to be looked after whilst he's out there.
Well, except for his washing machine, tumble dryer and big telly, which he's giving to his poor old underpaid dad.
Oh, my heart bleeds, John.
I know, is it kind of him now?
Well, yes, no.
That's what clever sons are for, isn't it?
Yeah, he's basically turning around, and saying to you, this just goes to show how much I think of you, Dad.
Well, I don't know what it is, but I'm glad he's doing it.
Well, if it's something that's useful, why have it stuck in a great big box when you can stuff it in the, into your dad's house and get some use
But
out of it?
I'll tell you what, it's anything but cheap. He did tell me the price, but I can't remember. But I thought, Jesus Christ, why don't you just sell it all and buy new when you come back?
I mean, I know that it's a very profitable industry to go in, and people are setting up in business with these big things because obviously it's obviously you could have the outlay for the initial construction of it, but it's just like a big building full of rooms of different sizes.
I think it is, yeah.
And you can have maybe a relatively small one or a great big one, depending on depending on what. And am I right in thinking, John, that it's well looked after as well? They have security and things like that.
I think it's well looked after security-wise, and I think it's the air is properly controlled so it doesn't get damp. And
yeah.
I think you can get 24-hour access and
sure.
Yeah, it's all well organised. But from what he said about the price, it literally ought to be. I went take it out for a bloody walk every day.
Talking of storage, you're like this, John. I've just had an email come through from Darren. He says, "Hiya, Paul. Just let you know, I've got the mother outlaw in storage at the moment because I found it's cheaper than the old folks' home." But wait for it gets better. He says, "But don't worry, she's available for easy access. I can bring her out for babysitting."
I'll tell you what, he's got the ideal situation there, hasn't he?
I'll tell you, he's going to be in big trouble if anyone's listening.
If she's listening, he's going to regret those words, isn't he?
Oh, I tell you, she'll be on the way to that phone now and phoning him up and saying, "It's your mother-in-law here."
I have to just say, a little bit sycophantic here, Paul.
What's
I love
that?
the show, and whenever I can get within range from when I'm coming home, I like to listen to you.
Oh, that's
It's a
very
cracking
kind.
show.
Bless
If
your
I've got
heart.
the evening off, I go to sleep listening to you.
Good man. You're not working again tomorrow, are you, John, after all that today?
Pleased to be able to say I've got Friday off and Saturday off, but I am working Sunday.
Do you work for yourself? You've got your own coach?
No. I work for... I won't advertise, but I work for a coach company in Bedhampton. That sort of tells anybody who knows.
Oh, right. Oh, that's fair enough. That's fair.
Yeah,
so therefore, you don't have to worry about the maintenance of the thing and all that sort of stuff?
No.
Which I would imagine must be huge on a coach.
Well, I mean, when you go to Tesco's and fill it with 400 litres of diesel, I wouldn't even like the fuel bill.
How much would that be? Because, I mean, I'm thick. I can't work these things.
Nearly £400.
So whenever you fill the coach up with diesel, it's about £400?
Roughly, yeah.
Gee whiz.
Well, if it's empty, I mean, we don't let them get empty, but
Yeah,
we usually fill them up when they get half full. But having said that, be fair, on a tank like that, it'll go to Germany and back, no problem.
So, I mean, you could go quite a long way then on a full tank, could you, Johnny?
Oh, yeah, as I just said, Germany and back, no trouble.
Oh, so it's not too bad.
Well, 9 miles to the gallon, that's pretty good, isn't it?
9?
So and then you don't work out she's cost so much to hire.
Yeah, absolutely right.
And I mean, to buy them, 250 grand.
Are they really?
Yeah, and we're classed as unskilled labour when we drive them.
Yeah, but there again, you've probably got nice ones. I mean, you can get some old clapped-out ones for about 50 quid, I should imagine, couldn't you?
I'm not sure if you can get one that cheap, but certainly you can get them fairly cheap.
Yeah, you get an old clapped-out one, that's quite reasonable. If anyone would want to get on the death trap.
Then you'll only get clapped-out work. You won't get quality.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Same in everything.
Yeah, quite right. Hey, John, it's lovely to speak to you.
And lovely to listen to you. Keep up the good work.
Bless you. Don't work too hard.
I'm going to bed in a minute. I have to cut a brandies, I think.
Oh, that's a good idea. Help you to sleep.
Yeah, ta-da,
Take care. Bye-bye
Bye-bye.
now. Bye-bye. I love that. There's John in Portsmouth. What was I going to say? Interesting point, though, saying about £400 of diesel going into a coach. But, of course, he's carrying about 50 people or so, so therefore the fuel cost per passenger mile is quite good, which I suppose it is, really. What have we got? Talking about things that go into storage, I've had a couple of emails come through on this. First of all, one from Adrian. It says, Paul, I work for a company that owns a number of storage facilities, and I think it's absolutely right to say they've become more and more popular over the last few years. I've only worked there for nearly 3 years, but we do have a waiting list already. Some of the units we have are very big, but most of them are fairly small, about the size of an average bedroom in a house, I suppose. They're the ones that people go for. As far as what's in there, I don't know. It's often kept very much a secret. People are able to keep a lot of information to themselves. Though on saying that, I'm sure the boss will be fully aware of what is in there. That's interesting. And also one from Darren as well. He says, Paul, I've got a number of bits and pieces in storage. I moved out of my parents' house a couple of years ago and I bought my first flat. The thing is, the flat was so small, that's all I could afford, that I wasn't able to take stuff with me. So in my storage facility, I've got boxes upon boxes of books from school, college and university. I've also got lots of games and gadgets and gizmos, you name it, it is all there. After all, it's got to go somewhere, and it won't fit in my flat. Thank you for that one. And also one from Jennifer as well, who says, Paul, I must be the only person who lives an ordinary life but does have storage. I'm a bit of a hoarder. My house is full of junk, and everybody used to take the mickey. So I had a good clear out. I've now got it in storage. I don't want people to know, though, how much I pay to keep it. I think if they knew, they would go mad. And to be honest with you, most of it could probably go in a skip. Have you got stuff in storage? What is in there? Maybe you work for one of these storage unit companies. I'd be very interested to know the sort of things that people have lurking around. And I'm also looking for a self-confessed geek as well. Or do you know someone who is a geek? And this Geeks Evening that is starting to happen in Oxford is attracting them from all over the place. Well, what sort of things make you geeky? Does somebody consider you to be geeky? Is it just computers or not? You know what to do. Pick up the phone, give us a ring, the text 07786 200 961, or of course the email paulmillershow@bbc.co.uk. Paul Miller Show is all one word. I got some geeks coming up very shortly. After a wreath, little prayer. Paul Miller Show coming up to 28 minutes to 12. It's the BBC in the South. We're around the world at bbc.co.uk. So we were talking about geeks a little while ago, and there's this Geeks Night that's coming together in Oxford, and apparently there are people going along and having a good time. Just wanted to know what a geek actually was. Had an email come through from Scott, who's in Oxford. He says, Paul, I think my brother is probably a prime example of what a geek actually is. Yes, he is into computers, but not that alone. He's into anything that is complicated and electrical. Basically anything that can go wrong. The problem is he doesn't just know how to use it from an operational point of view, he also knows how it works, why it works, and what happens when you press a button click something with the mouse or type something in via the keyboard. He drives the whole family mad. He's got a good friend who is also just as bad, and we sit and listen to the two of them having conversations. Believe me, it is not easy to understand either of them because they talk all sorts of weird language that means nothing to nobody. So, Paul, I think that is probably a prime example of a geek, and I better tell him about this geek night because no doubt he will be going along. And also one from James as well, who's in Southampton. And he says, Paul, I'm afraid I am a self-confessed geek, not with computers, but with anything to do with space. I'm fascinated by spaceships, by the planets, the universe, you name it. The more complicated it gets, the better. I'm told by some people that I'm incredibly knowledgeable, yet would you believe I don't have a qualification to my name? It's something that I've learnt myself. It isn't something other people seem to find very interesting, however, and I think this brings me to my bullet point here. What is a geek? It is someone who is very knowledgeable and talks a lot about a particular subject that other people don't care about. Could be, couldn't it? You know, people say, did you know? And you think, oh, here we go. And off there comes all the information. Yeah, quite. Anyway, thanks very much indeed for the emails there. Oh, and by the way, as far as putting things into storage is concerned, Paul has just been in touch. He says, haven't long got home from shopping in Canterbury with the wife and 5 children. I'd just like to know is, can you put kids into storage? That has never again, thank you very much. Paul, I don't think they would allow that somehow. No, I think that if you were to look at the rules, they would say you can't do that. Okay? Good. Consider it done. Just to update you again on this power cut. We are still waiting to get more information on this. We were told a little bit earlier on, a lot of people rung through reporting a power cut in the Arundel, Littlehampton area. Quite extensive as well, based on the places that people were mentioning. Not quite sure what's going on there. We've made some inquiries. We are still waiting for confirmed information to come back. So if you're living in that area and you're listening to me with your old HP2s, I say we don't have any more information at the moment, but as soon as we do find it out, then I will let you know. Oh, by the way, Roland from Wootton has got a book which is called What's the Difference Between a Geek? What's the difference between geek? Is any smart person with an obsessive interest in any subject. But apparently a nerd, which is another great word, a nerd is a geek without social grace. It's not the sort of thing you want to go into, really, is it, Mo? Absolutely. Keep well away. Right, 25 to 12. Tell me something. Have you ever done a great deal? With the cost of things going up and up and up, and more companies wanting to sell their goods, there is competition between companies, whether it be through buying cars, whether it be through buying machinery, electrical goods, books, CDs, whatever. Competition is rife. And so therefore, a lot of companies, even though they won't admit it straight up, are up for a deal. Now, deals, of course, usually come to those who ask for them. If you're buying a car, for example, you go into the dealership and you find the car that you would like, and you think, okay, I quite like that one in the corner. If you're a lady, because you like the colour, and if you're a gentleman, because it's got to go faster stripes down the side, and it's not big enough to get the mother-in-law in. So there you are, and you've got this car. You think, right, I want that one. If you try to do a deal, apparently, according to recent research, you've got a good chance of getting it if you know how to approach it. And it's interesting to know that there are some people who are getting all sorts of things thrown in with these deals. So, for example, they'll say, I will have that car over there if you throw in, I don't know, a year's servicing, throw in some sort of accessory that normally you'd have to pay for, and, you know, a bit of bartering going on, and 9 times out of 10 you do get somewhere in the end. This can also happen in shops as well. It's not just big things like cars. Maybe you were going in to do buy a book, and you think, yep, I quite like that book on there, and I quite like that one over there, and you'll say, I'll buy both of them if you'll throw in the CD that goes with the series, or I'll, you know, this sort of thing. And we were talking about this in the office earlier. It was just purely one of those conversations over the kettle, you know, as you do. And I just suddenly wondered, I said to Neil, I just wonder how many people have done a really good deal at some time in the past, and you've remembered it, and you sort of walked away from the whole thing and thought, yeah, that was really good. I've done a really good deal. Look what I've ended up with. For example, one of my colleagues went to buy just after Christmas, you know, these big sort of flash-array flat screen plasma television things. They wanted one of those. Went into a large store where they were they were on sale because it was the January sales, and they liked this big widescreen whatever. But it was expensive, and they thought, you know, a little bit more than I wanted to pay, even though it's in the sale. But they also had some nice DVD players there that were on special offer as well. They had been reduced for the sale. And they said, well, you know, could we do a deal here? What if we bought both? And it turned out they ended up getting both the screen and the DVD player, and some leads apparently thrown in as well, for exactly the same price as it would have cost them just to buy this plasma screen at full price in the first place. Now, that is what I call a good deal. Have you ever managed to do a good deal? Or are you someone who is just good at it? Do you know someone who is good at it? Maybe if you're going to buy a car, I mean, car is a prime example, because, I mean, second to a house, it's probably the most expensive thing you ever buy. Except with me, of course. But, you know, if you go and, you know, you want to buy a car, is there someone in the family that you take with you, or a friend or a relative that you go with, because you know that he or she is bound to be able to do a good deal? They've just got the patter, they've got the banter, they just know how to do it. As embarrassing as it may be, sometimes people are very good at it. And even though you may cringe when they start, they end up saving you, well, sometimes a fortune.
Call BBC Radio Kent 08459 811111.
I want to know. Gotta be some people who are very, very good at deals, or a good deal that you've managed to do that you're quite proud of. Let us know. Text 07786 200 961. Email paulmillershow@bbc.co.uk. And very briefly, going back to the storage thing, text just come through from John. He says, Paul, I run a very small storage business on a farm, and just to let you know, the demand is absolutely huge. This is mainly because people can't just throw stuff away, and also because higher house prices mean more and more unused furniture as well. However, it is good for me. I think it probably is. Back to this power failure as well. Had a call from Doug, who's in Climping. He said that they are sat there with the battery radio and the candles lit, miserable. And also, who's that in Yapton, Neil? Norley. My apologies. Norley in Yapton have been on the phone to the electricity company, Southern Electric. They say that they do hope to have it all back on around midnight-ish. The engineers are working on the problem, and as I say, hopefully all back by around midnight. So if you're in that part of West Sussex that we mentioned a little bit earlier on, generally the sort of the Arundel, Littlehampton area, then we will keep you up to date with that. But as I say, that's the update. Hopefully it's back on by midnight. Oh, Billy in Abingdon says, I've been thinking, Paul, as to what geek could stand for. And I've come up with Neil like this. Genetically energised elementary know-all. That's good, isn't it? Any more suggestions will be very, very welcome. Very welcome indeed. And as always, when we move on to something else, somebody picks up on what we were talking about a little while ago. The storage thing. Rosemary, who is in Tunbridge Wells, says, Paul, could anybody give me some idea as to how much it is to keep things in storage? My husband has an awful lot of books, and I mean about 30,000 of them. We're going to be moving into a smaller house for a period of time whilst we have some maintenance work carried out on our main house, and we were thinking of putting the books into storage, but we'll be very interested to know roughly how much it costs. Okay, we'll find out if we can. If anyone knows the answer to that, pick up the phone and give us a ring. And hopefully we'll be hearing some of your good deals very shortly as well. In fact, as soon as we've heard this. That is Who Loves You. 40 minutes to 12, Paul Miller Show from the BBC in the South. News and weather with Neil at 12. Got some travel news coming through, though, very important. In fact, if you're heading to Heathrow Airport at the moment, we've got a serious accident on the A30. That's the Great South West Road on the westbound carriageway. Now, the road is completely blocked westbound because of this accident at the junction of Westview and Stamwell Road. Now, if you know the area, you'll know that is going to be a big problem if you're heading into Heathrow Airport. So the A30 Great South West Road, westbound, closed because of a multi-vehicle accident at the junction with Westview and Stamwell Road. So watch out for that. Give yourself a little bit of extra time. And this geek thing that we were talking about earlier on, I know a few people rung through and said, you're having a laugh. It's true. This Oxford Geek Night is true. And I've got some more details on it here as well. And in fact, this is just mad, really, but I suppose... horses for courses. It says here that if you missed the last Oxford Geek Night, you really owe it to yourself to make it to the next one. Yeah, right. If you were there, then you shouldn't need any convincing. The next one is going to be on the 11th of April, or it was last night, and it took place at the Jericho Tavern, and it was upstairs and all starting at about 8:30. And there were two keynotes. John Hicks was talking about typography on the web and his thoughts on typographic trends for 2007. Aren't you sorry you weren't there, Neil? I am. I'd taken a night off if I'd known. And James Webster, I know you said something to me, I'm not clear what it was. And James Webster, who is from Amazon UK, will be presenting Amazon's web service suite as well. In addition to the two 15-minute keynotes, there were also 8 5-minute micro slots as well. And it says that Nat, whoever he is currently taking proposals for these. This is a good chance to give a lightning demo of something that you've worked on and a great opportunity for first-time speakers to gain valuable experience in front of a trendy audience. Oh, friendly audience. I was going to say they wouldn't be trendy, would they? A friendly audience. Yeah. The event is sponsored by a company. I don't know what they do, but entry is free to everyone, but you should sign up to tell everybody that you're going to be going to the next one so they know of how many people to expect. I think this is actually fascinating, isn't it? Geek Night in Oxford. Don't know when the next one's going to be, but if you are interested, have a little search on the web. If you do a search in Google or something for Oxford Geek Night, it will appear. There will be the information. And away you go. Amazing, isn't it? Horses for courses, I suppose. Oh, by the way, if you're thinking of, or you will be getting married very, very shortly, listen out, 'cause in the next hour of the programme, we're going to be talking about getting married, but not literally, but a very important part of it, and maybe an important decision that has to be made as well. So listen out for that one. A couple of bits and pieces coming through on the email and the text. Always do as many of these as I possibly can. I hate to ignore the emails and the text. We get so many of them. Had an email come through from Ryan who says, Paul, you spoke a little earlier on about doing a good deal. My brother's good at deals, especially when he wants to buy a new car. He always manages to get something thrown in. He never gets anything taken off the price of the car. He always has to pay what the dealer is asking for. But he gets things thrown in. For example, last year he bought a car, only 2 years old. He got thrown in a full set of mats that were going to be an optional extra. He was also given a jacket that has the name of the brand of car, because he quite liked the one that the dealer was wearing. On top of that, he also managed to get loads of other bits and pieces like air fresheners and shampoos and polishes. He really is the master, and he just does it. It comes naturally to him. But on saying that, it doesn't always go to plan. Because Barbara from Tunbridge says, Paul, my husband Colin is dreadful when it comes to trying to bargain on anything. He thinks that he'll always get a bit of money off if he tries, but it rarely works. Only a couple of weeks ago, we were wanting to tile the bathroom. We had a quote from the company. We then went back into the shop and he tried to get some money off. Backfired right from day one. In fact, I don't think we got a penny off at all. However, when we did go into the shop to make a complaint a couple of days later, after the wrong tiles were delivered, they looked at us as we walked into the door, as we walked through the door, as much as to say, uh-oh, it's that family again. You see, this is what happens. This is what happens. Yeah. And what about somebody who works somewhere where maybe deals are asked for? Philip from the New Wellington Hotel in Tunbridge Wells says, Paul, great show again. Thank you, Philip. Always nice to hear from you. He says, I run one of the hotels as I've mentioned in the past, and it is the policy of all hotels to do a deal when booking a room. For example, a Sunday night would command the best deals. Saturday nights, not so good, as we will usually fill at the best prices. I never knew this. When staying at other hotels, I never take the price quoted, as it's what they call in the profession, the rack rate price. You taken this in, Mr. Sackley? This is interesting. I know you spent some nights in some dodgy hotels. Apparently, the rack rate... The rack... I can't even blinking say it now. Dear me, he's got a doll of me next door and he sticks pins in it every time I say something. Yes. Oh, terrible where he sticks those pins. Rack rate price, which is known in the industry as the price they aim to get. So always ask if there is a better price than they can offer, and 99% of the time you will get a better one. And that's come through from a general manager of a hotel. I had no idea about that. So make a note. It's called the rack rate price, okay? And that's the price that they are aiming to get. So what that mean then? That if you go into a hotel and you see the price up on the tariff, I suppose you'd call it, you should always question it. You should always go in and say, do you have a room for the night? Yeah, yes, we do. And you say, well, how much is the room? And if the tariff is up and says, I don't know, 50 quid, whatever it is, I don't know how much these hotel rooms are, then you would go back and, and say, oh, no, I'm not paying that. That's far too expensive. And then if they turn around and say, well, I'm sorry, that is the price, you could be really clever, because Philip has now told us the terminology. So you then say to the bloke behind the counter, no, that is your rack rate price, isn't it? They're then going to be dead impressed and think, well, hey, they know what they're on about, and you end up getting a discount. Sounds good. I love it. Philip, always a pleasure to hear from you. Thank you very much for that. And I'll squeeze in a couple of quickies before we make our way up towards the news. Julianne in Oxford says, Port bargains, they are there to be had. I work in a large departmental store, and even though the prices of every item are to be seen, 9 times out of 10 there is a deal to be done. Now, I'm not saying that if customers see something priced at $4.99, they're going to get it for £2, but with expensive items, quite often that is possible. I can speak, for example, of electrical goods. A lady came in the other day to buy a fridge. She saw the price of the fridge. She then told me that she wanted to buy a freezer as well. Because she bought both of them at the same time, I was able to do a very good deal. In fact, she probably saved about £120. I was also able to knock off the price of the carriage as well. So bargains there to be had too. And final one here from Rita. Hiya, Rita. She's in Southend. And she says, Paul, my husband is the master when it comes to deals. He works for a car dealership. So as you can imagine, he knows exactly how to wheel and deal. The thing is, wherever he goes, wherever he's buying, he still thinks he's in wheeler-dealer mode. We get discounts on everything. Just a couple of weeks ago, we went into an off-licence to try and buy some champagne for a party that we were going to. The champagne was priced at £20 a bottle. He turned round and said to the bloke, no way could it be a round figure when you've put your profit on. I'm sure that must just be a rough idea. How much will you let me have it for? The bloke was very honest. He said, well, I suppose I could let you have it for a little bit cheaper. We managed to get 4 bottles for £40. Were we pleased? Yes, we were. There are bargains to be had. Love them. Elton John, Kiki D, don't go breaking my heart. You just caught me mid-ginger nut then. I've got to say hi to Keely, who says, Paul, talking about doing deals and what have you, it's really annoying. And Keely, by the way, is in Oxford Brookes University. He says, because whenever I go to buy an alcoholic drink in a store, a cashier always asks me for my ID. Don't worry, because I'm 25 and they still ask me for mine. Unfortunately, though, or fortunately, should I say, I've got, yes, no problems. I've got a friend who is always on the night shift in this particular supermarket. I've shown him my passport once. He knows how old I am, and so therefore I can go there and get my drinks. I consider that to be a privileged deal, don't you? Yeah, absolutely. Nice to hear from you, Keely. Thanks very much indeed for that. And also very, very quickly one from Oscar, who says, Paul, I'll tell you something. I think there's a very, very good deal to be done when it comes to my licence fee, because I think your programme is worth every penny. Oh, what can I say? Have another biscuit.
Across the county and around the world.
This is BBC Radio Kent.
The Midnight News, I'm Neil Sackley.
Survey.
Oh, yes. Funny you should be talking about bargains, actually, on getting deals.
Oh, I like them.
We've found this. Women are getting better bargains at car showrooms. It's just been revealed.
No.
Oh, yes.
Don't believe this.
Get this, and we'll be in trouble for this.
Ooh,
but it's true because it's
makes
been
a
in a
change.
survey.
It's got to be true if it's in a survey.
10% of females admit to playing dumb, so a car salesman will take pity on them and give them a better deal on a vehicle.
So what's their excuse outside the garage then, you know?
Say nothing about being blonde. A further 10%
He said that, not me.
Well, I am.
What?
Blonde.
Well, you were.
A further 10% will flirt, 5% will pretend to be single, and 5% will pose as a single mother to secure best prices. The survey also revealed that 25% of women preferred to buy a used car from a woman rather than a man. 99% of women lose their temper behind the wheel, with 85% directing their wrath at male drivers.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, dear. 28% of women have had men make eyes at them at traffic lights or while stuck in jams. And 11% of women start arguing with their partner just 15 minutes into a car journey.
Seconds, you mean?
So you know the trick there?
Go on your own.
I drive somewhere that's only 10 minutes away.
Yeah, quite right. Another way of getting deals come through from Trevor in Brackley. He says, mate of mine has got a great way of getting a good deal on a car. When he goes in to negotiate, he sits down and he gets his sandwich box and flask out, puts it on the desk. True. Gets his sandwich box and flask out and puts it on the desk. Trevor in Brackley's, it works every time. Can you imagine? So, are we going to do a deal then? Call it? You know, and out it comes.
Picks up his phone. Hello, darling, I may be here for some time.
Yeah. That's just amazing. Jam sandwich, you know. Good grief. I wouldn't have the nerve to do that. I suppose they're so desperate to get rid of him. It's not the image you want, is it, when you go into the Alepri garage and there's the people sat there with a flask and what have you?
I was going to say, did you get a deal on the Alepri? On the Alepri?
Yes.
I mean, how much did they give you to take it away?
Yeah. Ooh, you can be so hurtful at times.
Sorry, was that supposed to be kept quiet?
Very much so, yes. My luxury car, mine is, you know that.
Was.
I'm drinking me tea again.
But do you barter?
What, with cars?
With anything?
It depends what it is. It depends what I'm. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I mean, cars are awkward. I don't barter for. I mean, joking to one side, I don't try and get money off. I was told some years ago by a guy I interviewed. He said, when you go to buy a car, he said, don't try and get money off. Try and get more for yours. He said that would always work better.
Yeah,
he said,
absolutely.
Even though he said it may be horses for courses to you, he said from a dealer's point of view, it makes a big difference because he sold a car for an amount, you know, and that is what's important. So I tend to do that. I'm very good at bigging up my old car, as it were. And
also getting more for your money as well. So if you... like you mentioned a text earlier on about somebody who got all the extras, and a good one is is to try and get the garage to throw the warranty in without charging.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. You can get that as well, and maybe something that like a little extra. I mean, somebody mentioned earlier on the mats. I think in an email I read, things you can pay £200 for mats or something, can't you? Because they
They cover the holes.
Yeah, they're the right shape and what have you. I got some down the market. They were fine. You know, go around with the scissors. They fit a treat.
They cover the hole in the floor, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. They're fine. Yeah. You wait. Now the nice weather's coming, you'll be jealous of my ventilation. So, but no, that's what I tend to do, and I've always done that. I never ever ask for money off the car.
No.
It's always when they say, you know, what have you got to part exchange? And they sort of, you know, the lorry comes over. I say, well, it's... All right, George, let it down. Let it down slowly. I said slowly. And they look at me and say, that? I say, yeah, well, it got here, didn't it?
Well, you should get double for yours.
Quite right, too. Quite right,
It's
too.
2 cars, isn't it?
There's no need for that. Jealousy again. But no, that's the way I've always done it. And I have to say I've usually done reasonably well. I think so. A couple of £100 maybe or so. It depends very much on how much the car is, but they're not expensive anyway where I buy.
Yeah, with houses, you almost expect when you put a house for sale,
always an offer.
Yeah,
always is.
You do it on offer.
Because in actual fact, if you speak to an estate agent and you say to them, yeah, I like this house, you don't say, I'm going to buy it. You say, I'll put an offer in.
Yeah.
I mean, if the house is up for, I don't know, 159.50 or whatever, you never say that's how much you're going to pay for it. You'll say, I'll offer them, I don't know, 140, 135, depending on how it works. You never, ever. I wonder why that is. It's just the way that it works, isn't it? The prices are always inflated. A friend of mine put his house up for sale just before Christmas, about September of last year. And when the estate agent came round, he said, OK, he said, I think this is worth, I think it's about 225, he said, OK, this is worth 225, so we'll put it up for 234,950. And I said, eh?
Mm.
He said, yeah, then you're going to,
gives you a bit of,
It gives you a bit of play. And I was amazed. I thought, I didn't realise that you inflate the price. And they said, oh, yeah. And then, you say, well, what do you want? Then put 10 grand on top or whatever it happens to be. It's your relative.
Yeah.
It's interesting. There you go. I like this wedding thing.
Oh, the wedding, the Oxfam shop in Eastbourne. A month-long waiting list for fittings for used wedding dresses.
So does this mean, then, that more and more people are wedding second-hand than wedding brand new?
Could be. Could be an ethical thing as well. They saying that they don't want to use all this new material only once, and they want to get a second use. Or it could be doing it on a budget.
How much did you say a new wedding dress is? Average, about?
An average new one is £826. That seems a bit low to me. I thought they were up in the thousands, personally, but not having worn one.
Well, no, yours was given to you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe it depends on where you go. I mean, I've seen some in big departmental stores, we'll say no more, that are thousands. So maybe it depends on whether it's just an ordinary wedding dress or whether it's a flash-ary one or whether it's an ordinary one with someone's name on the bottom.
A low-cut back or front.
That's could be. I mean, do you get designer wedding dresses?
Yeah, you must do.
I mean, do you?
Must do.
I could just see Deborah making her way down the aisle.
Calvin Klein on the back.
Calvin Klein on the back.
Got kickers down the sleeve.
And there'll be Kev, he'll have his trousers to match. Maybe they do, I don't know.
I mean, we're coming out of the season now, but, what a great gap in the market for winter weddings.
Winter weddings?
No, to sell to brides who are getting married in the winter, white duffel coats.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Gap in the market. I'm gonna work on that.
Stick a name on the back.
Yep. Diesel.
Yeah, absolutely. Spell it differently, otherwise there'll be a lawsuit.
Yes.
And we'll be absolutely fine. But joking aside, I want to hear from people on this, because I think there's something in this. I'm amazed that so many people are buying second-hand wedding dresses. I mean, I'm a really weird person anyway, because I would say to you that if you're going to be with someone, for goodness knows how long, you need all the money you can get to start with. You've got to buy a house, and houses are just ridiculously expensive. So I think I read a while ago the average wedding is about £20,000.
It's something like that.
It's something like that, depending, obviously, give and take a few here and there. So why spend best part of £1,000 on a wedding dress when you could have either a second-hand one from a charity shop, which I think is fine, or what about hiring them? Just hire it for the day.
Because actually, blokes, the groom and the groomsman, more often than, and I may be wrong, but as far as I was aware, most of the male side of the wedding
hire the
suits.
Yep, so they're all the same. Because there's only one wedding dress. Well, hopefully there is. You have all the two brides making their way down.
Which one do you want?
Yes, you've now got to. Stephen, you've now got to decide which one. Is it going to be Vera or Flo? Oh, I don't know.
Or get them sat
side by side,
Yeah, behind a screen.
Yes.
And he has to answer the question. The screen comes back. You've chosen Flo.
Out comes Scylla. But before you choose, a little recap from our Graham. And up comes the music on the organ. The on the church organ. There's all the congregation rocking from side to side. And then Scylla says, so love, have you decided who it's gonna be? And he says, yeah, I'm gonna go for number 1. And out comes Vera. I always knew you were for me. I always knew.
Lucky she got varicose veins. So that was something blue.
Oh, don't get back to your legs again. But I just think this is interesting. you know, whether people do think that they should have a second-hand or does it take something away? I mean, is there something traditional about having, you know, a wedding dress? What do you do with it?
Who would know?
Well, you see, that's my argument. See, I agree with you there. I mean, you know, I think, you know...
Or do wedding dresses get handed down? I mean, mother to daughter, obviously.
Yeah, I suppose it depends on the size. I mean, would it fit? I mean, can you have them altered? Because they're quite delicate,
bespoke, aren't they? And
well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I don't know. I think. Well, I want to open this one up. I want to see what people think, because I'm interested in this. So, you read the weather.
Oh, crikey, hang on. Yeah.
You had forgotten,
I had forgotten, yeah. Staying dry with clear periods overnight, with increasing amounts of low cloud later, spreading across the region, with a few fog patches forming later. Winds light and mainly northeasterly. Minimum overnight lows 8 Celsius, 46 degrees Fahrenheit. For the rest of Friday, dry with bright or sunny spells developing for most, generally warm inland, but with offshore winds keeping some parts of the coast cooler. Maximum temperatures 21 Celsius, 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and the weekend staying mainly dry with sunny spells, warm inland but cooler on the coast.
Sounds good to me. Cheers, Neil. 12:15. So that is what I'm asking you in this part of the programme, and I'm really, really keen to see which way this goes and to hear your comments as well, regardless of what you think. I want to know your opinions. If you are about to get married, maybe you're thinking about getting married, you know, you've decided you are going to wed, but you don't know when, so obviously it's the early stages of the planning. Or maybe you have been married in the last, I don't know, 10, 20 years or so, and this hiring of wedding dresses and what have you seems to become quite a big thing. Did you hire yours, or do you think that is just, you know, crazy and there is just something about it and it's, you know, you just don't do it? Do you see for some reason, no, it's a very special occasion, you've got to have that wedding dress that is yours? And the other question is, what do you do with it? Because you only wear it for, what, 6-7 hours, something like that. And then, what do you do, go in a box for the next 50 or 60 years? I am very keen to find out. Text 07786 200 961. Email paulmillershow@bbc.co.uk. And maybe you're someone who works for a company that hires out wedding dresses and so on. Have you found that it's become a lot busier over the last few years or so? Or are people turning away from it? People think, no, can't possibly have a second-hand one or one that's been hired. It's just not the dumb thing. It's funny, you know, I've often said this many times in the past, but when Kool and the Gang started out, they didn't sound anything like that. They were nowhere as commercial sounding as that. And then I can't remember what the first hit was. They had a hit that was a bit of a surprise. And then afterwards they thought, we got a formula here. And the old sausage machine came out and they were turning the handle and they were churning out those songs for the best part of, 5 or 6 years? Some good songs, don't get me wrong, but they completely changed overnight. A bit like Fleetwood Mac, I suppose, but there you go. Right, after that, a bit of useless information. It's just gone 12:20. Paul Miller Show from the BBC in the South. We're talking about wedding dresses. Now, apparently there is a waiting list for wedding dresses in these, a lot of the second-hand shops or the charity shops. People want them. People are desperate to get hold of second-hand wedding dresses. They don't seem to be going for the new ones as much as they did. So what do you think? Do you think that it's something that's very important and you should therefore buy one for an average of about £826 according to this survey here? Or do you see nothing wrong with renting one, hiring it for the day and that sort of thing? I'd like to know one way or the other what you think. A couple of texts before you go to the phone. Chris from Sandwich says, Paul, my sister got her wedding dress for £60. It was £200, but she knew the shopkeeper, so she managed to get a bit of a bargain there. There you are. You see, we were talking about deals earlier on as well. Nice one, Chris, in Sandwich. Thank you for that. And also one from Raymond, who's in Slough. He says, Paul, my daughter got married in the year 2000. She desperately wanted to have a wedding dress that was unique to her. We looked around for a long, long time. We could find nothing less than £1,000. Didn't mind paying it, but we soon realised that it was stupid because the dress was only going to be worn for a few hours. In the end, we did hire one. It cost us £200 for the day. It was wonderful. Everybody was happy. And the rest of the £800 was used on other things. It's true, isn't it? But there again, one that's come through here from Barbara, who's in Portsmouth, and she says, Paul, I can't believe that people don't go out and spend that little bit of extra money to have their own wedding dress. For me, it is something very special. When I got married in 1972, it was the highlight, seeing that wedding dress the day we went to collect it. It had been made to fit me. It was very special. I've still got it now. It's upstairs in the attic. It's just the other thing as well is, I mean, what do you do with it when you finish with it? Or maybe then you do take it to a charity shop or something. I don't know. Would like to know. Let's go to Gravesend and speak to Rick. Hello, Rick.
Good evening. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Yeah, not bad.
Jolly good. You working hard tonight in the old cab?
I wouldn't say I was working hard. I'm working, certainly.
Is it still quiet out there?
It's deadly again tonight.
It's been like it for the last few weeks, hasn't it? I've had a lot of cabbies listen, they phone through and they've all been saying the same thing. There is no work.
They're going to have to start looking for a proper job, I think.
Is it better during the day, Rick? And is it busy during the day, or is it just a nighttime thing?
I come out at night myself, but it's far too many drivers during the day. That's for me. But
right. So you prefer to be out there at night?
I guess so, yeah.
Why not? Why not?
Somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got it. And of course, if you come out at night, you can listen to this programme, you see? Yeah.
Exactly that.
Got it sorted. Now then,
anyway,
wedding dresses.
Yes. My wife and I got married out in the Philippines 5 years ago.
Beautiful.
I mean, she is Filipino, so it was a good place to do it. But her wedding dress was handmade, sequins all on the top, on the bodice part and everything, long flowing dress, and was charged £72.
Not over here, I bet.
Absolutely not. Over
in
there.
The Philippines.
So I would highly recommend take a holiday. It's expensive to get there, but everything is so cheap when you're there. And buy your wedding dress while you're there.
Was it nice and warm when you got married as well?
Just a bit.
The weather, I mean, not the dress.
Yeah, it was very, very hot, actually, yeah.
I can imagine it would be, but it would. So do the wedding dresses out there differ at all to the wedding dress that we'd have over here, the traditional thing with lots of material and a veil to cover her face up,
Very, very similar. I mean, just choose your own design and they will make it for you.
Really? Literally anything you want?
Absolutely, yeah.
And are they always white?
Yes. Oh, yes.
It's interesting.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And you can't beat that sort of dosh.
No, you're telling me.
I was dumbstruck when she told me how much.
Because you were probably thinking hundreds.
Absolutely, yes.
Especially as you had it made.
Yeah, and when I brought back the pictures, I took it to a local wedding dress shop. And she estimated about 2,000 quid over here.
Now that is a big difference.
It's a huge difference, isn't it? So I would highly recommend somebody, that thinks about it, take a holiday there.
And what did you do with it afterwards? Have you still got it?
Yeah, it became a christening gown.
What, you mean you had it turned into something else?
Yeah, we had it made for a christening gown for first baby.
Oh, right. And what did you do with the rest of the material?
That's gone by the by, unfortunately.
Oh, that had to go.
Yes.
Fair enough. But that's quite a nice thing to do, actually, because Neil said earlier about, handing them down. Maybe that's the thing you could do. Use the material to make, christening gown or whatever, and then, I don't know, you could use it for all sorts, I suppose.
Well, we hope that the christening gown will stay and be used by little one when she next needs it when the time comes,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I know that the gown that I was christened in is very, very old. One word from Neil next door and there will be trouble. But it was, I'm trying to think how, it's actually written on top of the box. It was knitted by I think it was my great-great-great-grandmother. I think I've got that right. I think there are three. And it went down through, was it great? Now, it may just be two greats. And it's gone down through the family, and I was the last person to be christened in it. And it's still there. And in fact, every now and again, my mother will get the box out, and it's all in tissue paper and folded up and what have you, and give it an airing, make sure there are no moths lurking around. And it's quite nice, I suppose, to keep something, isn't it? And
That's a lovely idea, yeah. And you may as well make use of the wedding dress for something that's
it's very true.
To be handed down,
Yeah, it's very strange actually, because my christening gown is weird, because I can still get into it now. There is Rick from Gravesend, handmade dress in the Philippines. Wonderful, wonderful. Had a call from Carol in Gosport. She says there's a wedding dress in a charity shop that's not far from her for £60. So it's absolutely gorgeous. Looks really, really nice. Also one from Pauline on the text, 07786 200 961. She says, I was married in 1967 and I had not a second-hand wedding dress as such, but my mother's. It had also been used by my sister as well. We couldn't understand why we should go out and buy a new one. They were so expensive even then. Money was quite tight, and we had just managed to scrap together, my boyfriend and I, now husband, to put down a deposit for a mortgage on a house. Looking back, it was quite funny. That house was £4,000. I don't think you'll get a shed for that now. But so there you go. It is still in the family. I've still got it, and I was hoping that my daughter-in-law would have wore it, but unfortunately she said no. She thought it was a ghastly thing to do. Maybe I should give it to a charity shop. It's only sitting upstairs in a box gathering dust. And also, what's the other one? One that's come through here also from Valentine, who says, hi, Paul, I definitely will buy a new groom dress at all costs when I get married to someone. Maybe some people think I'm stupid, but I think a wedding is a celebration that I should experience it once in my whole life. So therefore, wedding dress deserves just that. So what do you think? New wedding dresses, or is it okay to have an old one, a used one from a charity shop, or even go out and hire one? Or are you dead against that? Do you think it should be a new one? Can you justify that expenditure for one reason or another? Jonathan, who is in Winchester, he said, Paul, I'm going to be getting married next year. My girlfriend and I have already discussed at great length how the expense is going to be shared, and I can assure you that buying a wedding dress is not one of them. We're going to hire the wedding dress. In fact, we're going to hire all our outfits for the day. Also, my brother, who's going to be best man, his will be hired, and so will everybody else's. That matters. No way are we spending an awful lot of money on it. Thank you for that one. And also Jonathan as well, who is in Slough. He says, Paul, I used to work for a company that hired out costumes and outfits and all sorts of things, ranging from fancy dress right the way through to ball gowns, wedding outfits, that sort of thing. I think it's fair to say that it has become more and more popular. When I left the shop back in 2002, every week, every piece of garment was out. In fact, they were thinking about buying a lot more because it was really supply and demand. It's interesting, isn't it? How it has become so much more popular to just go and hire the thing rather than actually buy it for hundreds and hundreds of pounds. What do you think? What are you going to do? Let's go to Hailing now. Speak to Shirley. Hello, Shirley.
Hello, Paul.
How are you?
Long time no talk.
Are you well?
Yes, not too bad.
Jolly good.
Yes, I'm just going through. Actually, a fortnight ago, today, was our 50th wedding anniversary.
Woo!
Yeah, we had a lovely, lovely do. Beautiful.
Very nice too.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, well, I borrowed my wedding dress from a friend who married just a little bit before me. Her name was Anne. And she said, well, why borrow one? I bought mine, you know. And we didn't have a lot of money. We were saving for a deposit for our house because we lived in a caravan to start with. Long story, but there you go. We enjoyed it and saved money for our house, our bungalow. But she said, no, borrow mine. And I did. And it was beautiful. And actually, she still got it. And it's in America now. She went to live in America and she still got it.
Still there?
She still got her wedding dress, yeah. Well, our wedding dress, we call it now.
Yes.
It's lovely. So I think that's absolutely fantastic.
And you didn't mind?
No, I did. Well, I did.
The fact that it wasn't yours?
I didn't have much money anyway.
Yes.
So I was grateful for small mercies.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful. I mean, it was sort of like Nottingham lace and a pretty little neckline. And the only thing I had to have done was to have the sleeves lengthened a bit. But fortunately, we found I had somebody, which was a friend of mine, who just made the sleeves a little bit longer.
And it was fine?
Yeah, it was absolutely fine. And of course I had 4 bridesmaids, so it took all the money to spend out on those.
Well, yeah, that's very true.
But it was very, very pretty wedding. And, you know, I mean, we had a lovely do, and all the wedding pictures came out when we took it to the place Well, we had a reception last.
See, I just wonder, Shirley, if maybe the reason some ladies want to have their own is because, am I right in thinking that quite often they are almost bespoke, and that quite often, your wedding dress will be unique if you have it made?
Yes, I think so, probably. That's what it is.
I think that's what I mean. There was a lady who used to work here some years ago, and when she got married, I remember her going on for weeks and weeks and weeks about this wedding dress. She was going to have a fitting, and when eventually the pictures came through from the wedding after it happened, everyone said, my goodness, you'd spot that a mile off. It was a really strange design. And, and I thought to myself, well, yeah, I suppose that is part of it, really. They are unique quite often. You don't just go and buy one off the shelf.
People have got their own ideas, but this was just pretty enough for anybody to wear. So, she was a very, very feminine person and still is, and I was actually quite proud. And I still am, to think that we both were friends and we both wore the same wedding dress. So it's something to look back on, Well,
I mean, there's
something
nothing
to hold dear.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Maybe
there wasn't.
Maybe there are other people who've done that as well.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they did. But I mean, it did look lovely. I mean, I had my own little Marcus seat shoes and that to go with it, and it was all pretty. You have your hair done, so whatever, And
all those years are never a crossword, Shirley.
Oh, it's got to be joking.
What? No? You mean no?
No, we're all right. We're
never a crossword, never a tube squeezed from the wrong end.
But I mean,
never a seat left up.
No. But we had. I mean, I've got 8 grandchildren and 1 great grandson, and all my friends I hadn't seen for a long, long time. And it was absolutely beautiful.
You didn't wear the dress again, though?
No. And I want to thank Annie in Thatcham for sending that beautiful otter to me.
Oh, yes, of course, because she collects them.
Bless her little heart. She is absolutely adorable.
So that made your day.
And thank you, Jerry. I'll talk to you soon.
Bless you.
Yeah, okay, my love.
Yeah, nice to speak to you, Shirley.
Yeah, and to you, Paul.
You take care.
And you, my love.
Bye-bye, my sweet.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye now. Bye-bye. Shirley from Hayling, she brought a friend's dress. Very nice it was too, she says. Had a call from Patty in Swanley. Says she can't believe that any woman would want to walk down the aisle in anything other than her own dress. It's such a special thing. Marjorie from Ashford's aunt asked to be buried in hers. And apparently she was. Can you imagine, eh? I want to be buried in my wedding dress. Yeah, nice. And also one from Stephen has come to on the text here. He says, Paul, my wife was desperate to have her own wedding dress. In fact, she was prepared to forfeit the wedding reception rather than not have her dress. Eventually, she got her way, and she said it was the most important thing. Personally, I'd have much rather had a better do in the evening, but there again, I suppose we are all different. And also one from, who's this one from? It's come through from Kathy, who is in Mount Vernon, New York, and she says, Paul, don't know if you haven't heard about the wedding dress sales at Fellini's Basement in New York City and Boston, then you need to check this out. She sent me a link here as well. Apparently they queue all night to get into the sale. There's a stampede when they go in, and they actually undress in the aisles to try on the sale dresses. Apparently it's absolutely brilliant. And that goes on in America, in Fellini's, in both New York and Boston. If you do a little search online, you'll be able to find it. Yeah, you get your bargains, you see. And thank you for that, Kathy, in New York. And talking of bargains, Marianne says, Paul, I got my wedding dress in 1984. I wasn't getting married till 1986. However, it was in the sale in Selfridges. I saved £500. It was a bargain. When I'd finished with it, I gave it to my next-door neighbour. She got married in it, and I'm not sure where it is now, but I know that 2 people have since walked down the aisle in it as well. If you have just joined us, we've been talking about wedding dresses, and apparently there is a huge demand at the moment for second-hand wedding dresses. You know, people are going around charity shops literally looking for them because they are so hard to find. And we're just asking you whether or not you thought that, you know, it was the dumb thing to have a new one, or to have one that hadn't been used before, or whether it was fine to have one that had actually been, you know, been hired. Some interesting ones coming through. Val from Wimborne on the text says, Paul, my wedding dress has been worn 3 times. Not a problem. And also Jonathan, who's on the M25, he said, Paul, got married 4 years ago, and my wife wore a dress that had been used by her best friend. In fact, it's going to be used again this year, this August, when a friend of hers is getting married as well. I think that that is it. I don't think it's been used anymore, but why worry about it? They are so expensive, as you said earlier on in your programme. I don't see any point in spending thousands of pounds on a dress that's going to be worn for a few hours when people are struggling to get on the housing ladder. That's a good point. And also one that's come through from Doreen. Hello, Doreen, who's in Worthing. And she says, I'm married in 1958. I had my own dress. I did have it made for me, and I have to say it was incredibly expensive at the time. Looking back, though, even though it was very, very pretty, I wonder whether it was worth the investment. We struggled for about 6 or 7 years before we could afford to really live comfortably after we married, my husband and I, and we think maybe we did overdo it on the wedding. It's not just the buying of the dress, but of course everything else that goes with it as well. I sometimes wonder if we do go over the top. Do enjoy the programme, thank you. And talking about going over the top, Christopher, who's in Southsea, says, my girlfriends and I are talking of getting married. It won't be this year. It probably won't be the year after either, because we simply cannot afford to do it. The wedding dress is the least of our worries. We've already decided that she will not be wearing a white wedding dress as such. She's going to wear a white suit that she has. In fact, it's one that she usually wears for job interviews and things like that. It doesn't have to be a wedding dress, and after all, it's only something to wear for a few hours while she's walking down the aisle. I suppose that's a good point. And there was another one that I wanted to mention as well that came through. Where was the... Oh, yeah, this one on the email. That's the one that came through from Joanna. And she says, Paul, sadly, my husband is no longer with us, but when I got married, I didn't have my own wedding dress. I had a dress that had been handed down many times. It was a girl that I used to work with who said that I could borrow it. It had been used by her. It was also used by her elder sister, and I believe her mother before that. I didn't feel right. All the time I was wearing the thing, right from the word go, I thought I was wearing somebody else's dress, and I think it took away something special. Before I was married, I would probably have answered your question tonight by saying it doesn't matter. However, now I think it does. If I were to marry again, I think I would definitely buy my own dress. And a couple of other people going the opposite way as well. Doreen in Tunbridge says, Paul, I was married in 1968. I did have my own wedding dress, and I think that everybody should. It would be only a lady who's been down the aisle wearing her own dress will be able to explain why. And a very similar point is made by Rita as well, who is in Oxford. And she's, I cannot understand why these people want second-hand dresses. I suppose it saves money because the whole thing is cheaper. But surely it's the most important day of a woman's life, the day they get married. So surely they should have something special. If you ask me, the dress should stay, the booze and the food at the reception should go. Ooh, that's a bit hard, isn't it?